My name is Sarah. Welcome to the It is a Sarah podcast. Today it is Monday, September 9, 2024, and in this episode I want to share my handwerk perikelen with you. That's a Dutch word for crafty adventures. I have a lot to talk about this week. I'm coming to you from the Netherlands, so excuse my Dutchy English. I love to knit, I love to sew. Oh, that's different. No, first crochet. I don't love sewing so much that it can be mentioned before crochet. I love to knit, I love to crochet, I love to sew, and I love to talk. So that's the perfect combination for making a podcast on YouTube. And I make my episodes in Dutch and in English, so be sure you pick the right one. Okay, I have a lot to talk about today. I have 2 finished objects, a whole new outfit. I'm very happy with, so I will tell you all about that in a minute. I also visited a lovely yarn event last Saturday, and I want to share a little bit more about that. And I also brought some yarn with me from that event, so I shall show you it. And I have some works in progress which I want to show, and also chat a little bit about the Knit to Purl to festival I will organize in November of this year, because I have some exciting news to share. Although if you are following Knit to Purl to on Instagram, you might have seen it already, but it's still exciting. So yeah, let's start. Let's start with what I'm wearing, and we start at the top. I finished my May top. I finished my whole outfit. It was quite a challenge. I really love a good challenge every now and then. Not always, only every now and then. It's a bit, I always compare it with running. Some people like to train for a running event, how do you call it? A running game or a marathon or something. So they are training, and then at one point they really want to accomplish their goal, to reach their goal. And I do that with knitting, not with running. I really hate running. That's not my thing. I tried, but running and me, but I do it with knitting. I'm training all the time, and every now and then I do a game, I do a challenge. So I did that last week. I really wanted to finish my outfit before the yarn event, and also because I want to wear it to the yarn event, but also it is September, and the weather, it can be very good and warm in September, but it also can not be. Is that the right way to say it? So the weather forecast was pretty good. So I thought, okay, when I finish this outfit, I can wear it for one weekend right now. And then maybe I have to store it until summer 2025. So the challenge was really a challenge, because I had quite a busy week, and I wasn't sure if I would make it. And then it's a really good challenge. It's not really a challenge if you are sure that you will make it. That can also be fun, but then it's not really a challenge. So it was, and I did make it, and that was a heart jumping moment for me. I could wear it on Saturday, and my top was even dry. That was a little bit, I was not sure. I thought, oh, maybe it's still wet from blocking, and then I will put it on. I had to ride quite a long car drive, so I thought then it will be dry when I arrive at the location for my body temperature. But that was not necessary. It was dry in the morning, in the early morning. This is the May top. It's a pattern by Asita Krebs. Her social media name is CD Spint, and she is a new to me designer, suggested by my mother, my mom. So my mother made this top too, in a lovely shade of pink, a little bit of old pink, one of the Knitting for Olive colorways. And my mom suggested it because I did buy 2 balls of Knitting for Olive pure silk in the beginning of summer in a Dutch yarn store, Rebel with a Twist in Dordrecht. And when I came home, I was actually looking at the patterns from Knitting for Olive. And then I realized that I wasn't sure that I could make it with only 2 balls. I needed actually 3. And I love the summer top designs of Knitting for Olive, but they are all bottom up, and that's not my favorite. And also when you are playing the yarn chicken game, that's also when you're knitting top down, you can decide later what if you need to add another color, or if you can just tuck it in your skirt. But the other way around, that doesn't work. So then my mom suggested the May top, and I already had seen her version and I really loved it on her. She also knitted it in pure silk. And I decided I would make that one. So I did buy the pattern, and when we came back from summer holiday, I just checked my knitting book. I started on August 14, and it was really a lovely pattern. Let me start with the yarn. It was my first time knitting with Knitting for Olive pure silk, 100% silk. I never used it before, and it was actually quite nice, surprisingly nice. I don't know if I really had expectations, but I already had heard some people telling that it was a little bit rough to work with, but I understand what they mean, but it was not a problem to me. It really did remind me of working with cotton yarn, not the same, but yeah, it's totally different than a woolly yarn, but I really loved it. It is quite a splittery yarn. So the only thing, I don't know if you can see it. The only thing every now and then is that my knitting needle only catched one of the small strands, and then I had to drop the stitch and pick it up again with all the strands. But that was the only thing, and that was not really a problem. So this is what I have left. It was exciting. I will tell more about that later. I have the colorway Dark Cognac. And as I said, I used 2 balls, and that was also what the pattern suggested. And one 50-gram pure silk yarn ball has 250 meters. So that means I have knitted 500 meters in total. 100 gram, that's really lovely for a summer top. Yeah, so the yarn was pretty good. I was excited to block it, but I will tell it in the right follow. I started at the top. You knit the back panel first, and then you pick up stitches for the front panels, and it asks a little bit of attention with all the increases for the neckline and the armholes, and also you have to start the lace. But at some point you all connect the front and the back together and you start knitting in the round. So in the beginning you knit back and forth, and then you start knitting in the round. And then it's not hard at all. This panel, the lace panel, it's of course the most beautiful part. Now, I don't know, it's all beautiful. I also think the fit is really beautiful. But this lace panel is the eye catcher of the pattern. And that was so much fun to knit. I marked the lace panel with 2 stitch markers. It's not a repetitive lace. Yeah, of course it is repetitive, but a memorizable lace. I have to say it like that. Too many stitches and also too many rows. So I couldn't do it by head, but I have my knitting book. I just I always print my patterns and I save them. Sometimes I write on the patterns, but I try to do not, so I can reuse them if necessary. So I printed the part with the chart again, and I put the chart in my knitting book, and I just, every time I knitted the chart a row, then I crossed it, I marked it. So that asked for some attention, but that was actually really nice. And it also made the knitting not boring, because you have to knit quite some stitches, but it was actually quite nice you knit for 1.5 rounds, just easy peasy, knit tree, purl tree, and you can do all the things you need to do. And then at some point you have to pay attention. So I was listening to my audiobook and I paused it on my ear, pause, and then I have to pay some attention to the lace part, and then I could knit further. And it was really a nice balance between relaxed knitting and a little bit of pay attention knitting. I love to do both, and certainly when they are in balance. So that was really nice to do. I did make a little mistake in the lace panel. I was already, it was, do you recognize that? I know I'm not the only knitter who has that, but just before you want to go to bed and you think, okay, I finished this round, and just before you want to go to bed, you discover a mistake. Oh, that's the most worst. Oh, it started raining. That's the most worst timing of discovering a mistake, because you are actually a little bit of unwinding with your knitting to have a peaceful sleep during the night, but then you discover a mistake and bye-bye peaceful sleep. So a big part of me wants to solve that mistake immediately, especially because it was a challenge. It was Thursday night. I did visit the knit night of my yarn shop. I just dropped by quick because I had a busy day. It's raining very hard. I don't know. Knitting weather. Yeah, okay. That's nice. Only I didn't expect it now. But where was I? I was at knit night for only 1 hour, and I was knitting and I made a mistake. I thought I paid attention, but I repeated one round twice. So one part of the chart twice. And I discovered it just before I go to bed, and I went to bed and I thought, oh no, what do I have to do? And I have a clever part of me. Smart Sarah said, okay, put it away, go to bed, read a little bit in your book to forget this, and we will see tomorrow. And that was very clever. Normally, I could fix the mistake, but I already knitted a few rounds without noticing, so I couldn't just knit one round back. And also, I can fix mistakes with dropping quite some rows, only the lace panel. So exactly the same with cables. You just, when you have the mistake in, let's say, 10 stitches, I can drop the 10 stitches for 10 rounds, and then you have to pay attention. It's a little bit of puzzling to go back and what every stitch do you have to knit, slip, knit, yarn over, whatever. And that's time consuming. And I actually love that part. It's really, like I said, as solving a puzzle. And it's chaos, but just focus on every strand of yarn, every single stitch, and suddenly the chaos disappeared and you are back on track. But I didn't have the time for that because I had a deadline. So normally I would put the garment away and calm my nerves with some other knitting, and then pick it up again when I was ready for it. But I had no time for that, so I decided that I would leave the mistake where it was. And that was also, I did a quick fit moment before I went to bed. And then I noticed the mistake was in this part. Let me show it to you. The mistake, I think, is here. I don't know if you can see it. Of course, yeah, here. There are 2 yarn overs. I did knit that round twice, but there only must be 1 yarn over. But when I realized that it was on the tuck in my skirt part, I thought, then I can leave the mistake where it is and nobody will notice. Only my Miss Perfect will know, but she's okay with this too. A few years ago she wouldn't, and we definitely couldn't enjoy a knit in which we know there was a mistake, although no one could see it. But we are growing in our imperfectionism. so I was very happy the mistake was not on this part, and yeah, it's totally fine. So you can make a mistake in your lace, and still it can be a hard jumping garment. That was really nice for me to realize. Let's copy that to real life. Yeah, so I just knitted and knitted and knitted, and the last rounds were a little bit of exciting because I had to do an I-cord bind off at the bottom. There's also an option for just a regular bind off, but I love the look of the I-cord bind off, although I think you can't really see it. The I-cord bind off, I forgot to tell a little bit about that I will do that in a minute. So I did weigh how much yarn I used for one round, and then I was playing yarn chicken, not really because I had the right length, and but I decided to start the I-cord bind off, I think, on the perfect moment. I could have knit one round with this, I guess. But now I'm very happy. I have a little bit left for in my Scrappy Blanket, in my Northeasterly blanket, so I can add a memory of this lovely knit into that blanket. So it's perfect. The I-cord bind off. Oh, I was talking about that last week, I guess. The armholes drove me crazy. I had a very successful experience with the I-cord bind off on the neckline. You pick up stitches and you do the I-cord bind off, and it was just one try and it worked out exactly the way I wanted to be, and it was really surprising me and also hard jumping. But that was not working on the armholes. I told about it last week. They were too tight or too loose, and I tried it over and over again, and I picked up stitches every time, and I know it was in the pattern, just try several times until you're happy, and I didn't mind trying several times, but I never got happy. So then it got frustrating. It frustrated me, and then there was one moment that I thought I will run out of time if I keep trying knitting the I-cords over and over again. And a comment of Asita herself on my last week's YouTube episode really calmed my nerves, because he said the I-cord, my I-cord really, how do you say it in English? After blocking, it was all good. So I thought, okay, the problem with my I-cord bind off was that I did a quite tight I-cord bind off on the neckline, and it was really nice. So the neckline is really perfect, but I didn't want it to have the same tightness under my arms, because then it would be too close under my arms, and I didn't like that. But when I did the I-cord bind off a little bit more loose, the difference between the tightness of this part and the tightness of that part was not looking really good. It was looking a little bit messy at the armholes. But of course, Asita, I hope I pronounced your name right, she was right. After blocking, it was no problem at all. Let me take a look in the mirror. It is still a little bit looser, but actually it's really comfortable to wear, and it's the best fitting summer top I have ever knitted, I guess. Exactly the way I wanted it to be. So I'm so happy she commented that, and also the blocking was really exciting, because I never knitted with pure silk before. So I asked on Instagram to other knitters if they had experiences with blocking pure silk. I thought it must be blocked in cold water, but I checked. I was filming my Dutch episode, and then I checked the label, and it can be washed in 30 degrees. So I think I made it up myself, the cold water part. But there were several people telling me that their knitted garment in pure silk did grow quite a bit after blocking. So they warned me, don't pin it too wide. Of course, normally you pin your lace panel, but it is a stretchy garment because of the ribbing stitch, knitry pultry. And I just dried it flat and didn't pin anything, just made it straight with my hands. And I only did block it for 1 hour in cold water with no wool wash, because it's no wool, and also no other washing stuff. How do you say that? In Dutch we say wasmiddel. And only for 1 hour. Normally I prefer to block my garments during one night. It's not really necessary, but I just love it that the knitting can soak up all the water, but there was no time for that too. So I will do that. I will try it once. I did spin cycle it on quite high in the washing machine. I never do that, and that was really exciting. I put it in a pillowcase and I tied it together, and then I put it in the spin cycle on 1200 rounds. I don't know how do you say. In Dutch we call it toeren, 1200 toeren. And normally I only do maximum 600 rounds a minute. So that was quite a big difference, but I really wanted to be dry, and it was a rainy day Friday, and then your cotton and plant fiber garments, they won't dry quickly. So I did do that, and it worked out all nice, and it is the uneven stitches are not disappeared with the Sandnes Line and also with Drops Bell. My stitch definition improved after blocking. I can't really tell that about the Knitting for Olive, but it has a bit of a rough look and it's soothing the yarn, so it's no problem at all. But I'm wearing this for the 3rd day in a row now. I never do that with my summer garments because I like it to be fresh after wearing it on a warm day, but because the fit is so good, it's still smelling fresh even under the armpits. And it was quite a warm day last Saturday, but I did wear it Saturday, of course, up to the yarn event. Yesterday we had a family barbecue and I want to show it to my mom, so I did wear it. And of course today I want to wear it for the podcast, so there was no time for washing in between. I will do that tomorrow, but it's still smelling good, so no worries. It doesn't need to be washed as often, I guess. But next time when I will wash it tomorrow, I will try the hand wash on 30 degrees, and maybe there will happen some more with the yarn. But really, I really recommend this pattern. My mom also knitted one in a bigger size. She wears it with a t-shirt under it, and it's looking very lovely too. She has a beautiful pink shade of Knitting for Olive, or maybe I already said that. But it's really a lovely pattern. It's well written, and yeah, I am absolutely sure I will make another one. I have some other yarn with silk. It's from Long Yarns. It's in my stash forever. It was for the time that I worked for Long Yarns. And I am not quite sure how many meters there's in my stash, but if it will be enough, it is a lighter color, so then I will make one in that color, or otherwise I will buy some new Knitting for Olive, because yeah, I just love it. The fit, the look. I do wear a tank top under it. I did a quick fit with only my bra under it because I was wearing another knitted garment, I guess, and I couldn't wear that under it, so I did a quick fit with only my bra, and one of my children was looking, is it your plan to wear it like this? The look in her eyes was really funny. No, don't worry, your mother won't go on the street with this. It can be nice at some people, but it's not what I feel comfortable in. So I wear it with a tank top with spaghetti straps. Yeah, straps it is. I always confuse between straps and strands, but it is straps. But I think even because the straps are quite wide, you can wear a wider garment under it too. Asita herself has it on the pattern photos, so you maybe can get some inspiration there. It's really lovely. Oh, it made me so happy. Yeah. My other garment. Did I also already say that I absolutely recommend the pattern? I think I did, but no problems with mentioning that twice, because I really had fun knitting this. No sponsoring, just bought the pattern myself, and yeah, just a happy knitter. Yeah, then my skirt. Oh, I finished my second modified version of the Songbirdskirt from Liberated. It's really a heart jumping moment for me again. I made a black one in one night just before we went on holiday, and I lived in that skirt, and it didn't make sense. It was filled with mistakes and all the things, but it was just the perfect skirt for me. So I definitely wanted to make another one, and then in a little bit more quiet tempo, in a slow tempo, so I wouldn't make as much mistakes as I did the first time, and I did it. I still made mistakes, but making mistakes is my way. I already know that right now, and I can be very happy with mistakes. The biggest mistake I made, I don't know if you can see it, the zigzag right here, my elastic, it should have come to there, but it didn't. I had to fold my fabric more down, I guess. So there is a zigzag which is not stretchy, so it's looking a bit weird, but it's okay. I wanted to buy coconut buttons, but they didn't have them in stock, so I did buy wooden buttons, and I love the look of that too. It's fabric of a mix of linen and viscose, and it's really the viscose gives it a really nice drape, and yeah, it's really a lovely garment to wear. Of course, I made the songbird skirt. I just made the upper tier all straight down, and it's a little bit narrow around your ankles. And thank you for all the people who suggested the split. Oh, I don't know if that's the right word. I all noted it down in my notes on my phone. I did check tutorials on YouTube. There are several ways to make that. I don't know if you call it split. In Dutch you call it split. So there's some more space, but I didn't have the time for that. I will absolutely give it a try, but my sewing skills are still small. And yeah, I think it's okay. I really love the narrow fit at the bottom, because it is perfect, but I can only take decent steps. But it actually, in kind of a way, really slows me down when I need to. When I'm in a hurry or I try to go faster than it's good for me, then my skirt reminds me, take it easy, take small steps, slow down. And yeah, I actually quite like that. So when my original songbird skirts, they are much wider and I can take very big and quick steps. But sometimes it's better for me to slow down and take tiny, decent steps. So there was not enough time and also not enough motivation for trying the split. But I definitely will do it once when my sewing skills are a little bit bigger. Yeah, so I could wear my whole new outfit to the yarn event on Saturday, and that was really fun. It was beautiful weather. It was actually a little bit on the warm side. So that was certainly in the afternoon. We were in the sun and we were sun-kissed. I had a refreshed tan line. After summer holiday, I didn't see a lot of sun, but my tan line was very visible. So a little bit of vitamin D before we go into the darker period of the year. But it was such a hard jumping day. It was called Tegendraads. It is organized in a little village quite close to Amsterdam. It was quite a drive for me, a 2-hour drive to come there. But it was close to the river. I didn't film anything. I'm sorry for that, because yeah, I can't do that. I always, the Dutch knitting friend I was with, Miriam, she did film, and maybe she will share it in her podcast. I'm not quite sure, but if she does, I will share the link somewhere. I think maybe on my Instagram or whatever. It is a yarn event with all the stands with lovely, beautiful, creative people selling yarn, but also all other wool-related stuff, handmade things. There were a lot of things to see, and we were invited to be in a knitting cafe outdoor. They had a cozy couch and a beautiful chair, and all the chairs and carpets on the ground and all the nice places, and we could sit and people could just come sit and knit or crochet and meet each other, and it was really lovely. I have seen so many lovely people, even someone from Canada. I'm sorry, we had a nice and lovely chat, but it was the end of the day and I had to run because I need to no, I didn't need to. I wanted to visit some yarn booths and I didn't had time for it during the day. So, and when I came back, you already did leave, but it was very nice to meet you and have fun in Amsterdam. It was very special to meet someone from all the other side of the world in the Netherlands, sitting next to each other. That was really a heart-jumping moment for me. But yeah, it was really lovely, heart-jumping and a heartwarming day. I really love to meet other knitters and crocheters. We always have a connection, and that was really nice. I also bought some yarns. I want to show you that. Let me see. Let's start with this one, because this is not really my colorway, but it was such a lovely story. This is yarn. It is dyed by Lisette, and her company is called Made by Lisetje. And she is a Dutch yarn dyer, and it was her birthday last Saturday, and she was there selling her yarn. And I don't know how you... in the Netherlands, when you are celebrating your birthday, then you... I don't know the English word for it. In Dutch we call it trakteren. You share something nice. The kids at school, when it's your birthday, they bring a big basket with something to share with the other kids, and it mainly is food. And I know all the teachers at school, they are really prefer healthy snacks, little snacks, lovely looking little snacks, and they really prefer healthy snacks, but that doesn't always happen, but also sometimes a small present. And also when you are working and you're celebrating your birthday, you bake a pie or a cake and you share it with your colleagues. I don't know if that's a Dutch tradition. I don't think so. I think it's also in other countries. But Lisette, it was her birthday, and she wants to trakteren. She was there with a basket with yarny snacks, and she shared the yarny snacks with her colleagues. She said, I don't have colleagues, I work for my own. So we were her colleagues, and the yarn, the colorway is called feestslinger, which means party garland. We hang garlands when someone's birthday is. We do hang garlands in the room to celebrate it. I think it will happen in other countries too. I actually don't know. Of course, you make it looking nice and cozy and festive. So party garland colorway, out of my comfort zone, but actually quite nice that every now and then such a bright colorway sneaks into my yarn basket, because it's very lovely to have it in scrappy projects or whatever. And I will put it in the basket, and it will remind me of a happy day, and also of sharing. That was really lovely of her. I did buy a skein at her booth too. During the day, every time people came to talk and sit down, I sneaked into their bags to watch what they did buy, and I really love to look at other people's treasures found on the yarn event. And I saw some really beautiful colorways with brown from Lisette. But when I came to her booth, the colorway I was looking for, she didn't have that. I don't know. I don't remember it exactly. And then I saw this one. She had quite some different colors with Donegal, with the tweed naps, and she is quite a bright colorway dyer. She had a lovely shade of yellow too, but I already have some shade. Oh, I have to tell what I want to make. I want to make a garment of it. I already had that one, so I decided to go for something pink, and it's merino with Donegal, and the colorway is called Malay, and I think it's really beautiful. So it is my plan to make summer garments of it. I should have started with this. I discovered that I can make a sporty tank out of one skein of fingering weight yarns, 100 grams skein. And of course I have quite a tiny size, and I know that's really luxury that makes that I can finish garments quite quickly, because there's not a lot to knit, and also it's not really yarn consuming. And that's really, that's really good for me because, you can knit a garment for yourself quite quickly. And when I did knit this last summer in a wonderful hand-dyed skein by another Dutch dyer, Wit Zomer, I realized I can make this more and more. And suddenly I wanted to collect a lot of hand-dyed merino yarn skeins for that purpose. And I'm quite sure, I don't know, I'm not quite sure. I also have that one that was my own design. It's not really a design, but it's also made from one skein of hand-dyed sock yarn. And it's also from a Dutch dyer, but it's from years and years ago. And of course I did do a contrasting ribbing, but this is exactly 100 gram. And I prefer to wear sleeveless tops in summer. I'm not really a t-shirt lover, so I prefer this one. And this is a little bit more, also the sporty tank, and this one quite narrow strands and bared shoulders. This is a little bit more fabric. And when it's a little bit more gray day or a little colder, then I love to have a little bit more fabric around me. So maybe this one is a little bit too close under my arms, but I know how to do it right now. So maybe I can make this one too, another one. I really would love to have that, and this one too, and that one too. It's quite exciting because when I start making summer garments, I prefer DK weight because it went a little bit quicker, and fingering weight, summer tops, it takes forever, even in my size. But now I really love the feeling and the lightness of the fingering weight garment, so that's really lovely. So I will make a summer top with that one. I also did buy from another Dutch dyer this beautiful caramel colorway. Lovely. It's from Winnie's Wool. It was my plan to make a top with that too, but then I thought, okay, they are quite matching. So maybe I will use this for socks. I don't know. It's a beautiful colorway anyway. I really love it. And it's also merino yarn. I all chose merino yarn because I can have that better on my skin in summer. And this one, it was actually not meant to be. I was at the booth from Wool Hobby, Linda, and I already knitted with her yarns socks a few months ago, and I tried to buy yarns at different places so I can talk about different people. There are so many people doing beautiful things, and I want to share about different people. So I thought, I although Linda has the most beautiful colorways, I thought I will skip her today, but it didn't work out. Her sister said, oh, you can buy it anyway and put it in your bag. And I did, because I saw this lovely colorway. It's called Blackie, and it's black hand-dyed merino yarn. And I love the look of hand-dyed black. And I really love to wear black tank tops. I always wear black cotton tank tops, and also in summer when I don't wear anything knitted, I wear a cotton tank top. And then I realized, oh, I need a tank top, a black tank top, knitted tank top in my wardrobe too. And I will definitely make a sporty tank of this one. The other, I have to think about it, but this one will definitely be a sporty tank. And I can wear this in winter too as an extra warm layer around my torso. So yeah. Also, casting on these garments will be this is quite an easy part. You just knit back and forth for quite some time, and the increasing at the neckline and the armholes, it asks for a little bit attention. But when you join it around, you knit two, purl two forever, and it's actually quite boring to knit. Also satisfying and relaxing, but also boring, let's be honest. So it's the perfect garment, also because it's not big, the perfect garment to have in a project bag. You can grab anytime, and you can knit away, and then suddenly your garment is finished. That's quite nice to work in between on those projects. Yeah, I really love that. So I hope I can make it casting on one. I always have so many plans, and it never, no, there's happening enough, but not all the plans. But why? Oh, I have one word there. What is so nice on having all the works in progress for me, I had quite some time, I did spend quite some time, all my knitting time, on this top last week. And when it was Saturday morning, I had to leave the house early to go to the knitting event. And I thought, oh, I want to grab some knitting or crochet, but all my socks were on a point where they need some focus, color work or the heel. And when I'm at a knitting event and when it's busy, I just want something which takes no brain space or concentration. And then I realized I have my Scrappy Shawl. So I brought that with me in this lovely project bag I received from a Dutch podcaster, Yvonne. Her podcast, she also makes English episodes, is Knitting in Den. And it was a little bit, I have a magic yarn ball. I tried several months ago to make a Scrappy Cur sweater. That didn't work out the way I wanted to be. Then I made a Scrappy leaf, which was really hard jumping. But I made a magic yarn ball with no knots, just only wrap it around with no knotting. From the leftovers, the small parts, and I decided to make a Scrappy Shawl of it. So I'm not quite sure. I think I have 100 stitches, 50 on both sides. I cast it on with a Turkish cast on, and I am just knitting it around. And at some point, some people were suggesting that I could make a project bag of it, and I really loved that idea, and I was really doubting. But I have so many project bags. They were all gifted to me. I'm really a spoiled lady, but I don't need another project bag in my life, I guess. And the idea that I can make a big shawl, of actually a scarf, a big long scarf that you can tangle around your neck multiple times, that's really a hard jumping idea to me. Maybe I will wear it myself, maybe one of my kids or my husband, or I don't know, just a big colorful shawl. It's really thick and it will be really warm. I knit with 2 strands of fingering weight yarn, and what I do, let me turn it inside out. It's a big mess. I don't have the magic knots. I know a lot of people are very happy with the magic knot, but I'm not one of you. And I did several tries. Maybe I will try it again. I really am quite sure that I did the knots the right way because I really followed all the tutorials. But just the knots were not always so secure as I want them to be. So now, because I'm knitting a tube, when I am at a color change, I just knit a few stitches with 4 strands of yarn. So I always knit with 2 strands, and then at the point of the color change, I knit 4 stitches or something like that with 4 strands of yarn, and then I drop the beginning of the ends, and I will not weave them in because it's not necessary. Actually, because they are on the inside, it's just extra warm. It's looking a little bit weird this way, but it would be a lot of work to weave them in, and it also wouldn't make sense because there's no difference. Because you knit them with all the strands together, they are secured, so nothing will happen. They will they will stay where they are. And when the scarf is finished, and that will be taking forever, then I will close the hole with the Kitchener stitch. So really a nice and hard jumping knitting project. Just nice to have it on your needles so you can grab it anyway. I also work on it every now and then when I'm editing, when I have to wait, when I'm transferring videos from my phone to my laptop, and it's always in my knitting office, in my bedroom, so I can pick it up and just knit a few stitches. And because of all the colors, it's always making me happy, and I can do it anytime. And now I did knit maybe, no, not much. The end of the day, I did knit a little bit more because when the event was over, it was just, we were sitting on next to the water, the river, and on a picnic table, and with some nice knitting friends, and we were just chatting and eating something and just calming down after a very busy and warm day, enjoying the summer night, and that was really nice. And then I did knit. I'm sorry, I'm distracted by a weird sound. I don't hear it anymore. Okay. My husband told me yesterday evening, someone's coming to look at the kettle. Do you know the thing which organize all the heating through the house? The kettle is next to our knitting office. And I said, but when I'm filming my podcast, I can't do that when someone's working there. So I tried to be a little bit more early today than I normally are, and I hope I will make it in time. But I was a little bit afraid someone was coming already, but I don't think that's happening. Okay. The yarn event was wonderful and great, but also exhausting. Yesterday at Sunday, I was exhausted. All my body was tired and the house was a mess. So I was vacuuming with that angry, frustrating energy, and I was rushing through the house. And then I realized, don't go there, Sarah, don't do that. You have to recharge before you want to clean your house. So I put away the vacuum. In Dutch we call it stofzuiger. I put away my pink Heddy, and I thought, what will make me happy right now? What's the best way of recharging? And then I realized casting on a new knitting project will be. And I absolutely was looking forward to cast on my knitting project for the Knit to Prill to Make Along. What I want to wear on the festival day. And I swatched last week, but there was no time this week to cast it on because I was busy with my challenge. So I thought, okay, I accomplished my challenge. Now I can cast on that knitting project. And I did. It is my plan to use the current cardigan from Rebecca from the Creabea podcast as a base, but I will do the coffee bean stitch instead of her lace stitch. And I think that will work out pretty nice. But when you are exhausted and you have frustrated energy, of course your long tail cast on will not work. I must confess I don't have this problem quite often, but I did run out of yarn. I have to cast on 30 extra stitches, I think, but I didn't make it, and that was not what I needed. So I thought, okay, this will not work, and I put it away, but I will definitely start this week. I have a very, very busy week with a lot of things to do for myself, but also for the kids. We have those nights at school, those information nights, and other appointments, not knitting related, and a lot of work for the Knit to Prill to festival. But that's okay. There will not be a lot of knitting time, but I definitely will try to cast it on the right way this week because I'm looking forward to this project so much. But then I picked up my Colorwork Cuff Club socks. I don't have them with me here. I will talk about them more later, but I both bring them to the point they were back on track. At one sock I was at the heel, and now I'm at the point I can just knit mindless on it, and the other point I was on the color work, and that's also not a hard part to do, but I'm back on track, so that was nice. And the other thing I really want to finish, I don't know if I will make it today, I'm quite close to finishing, is my Prague Blanket. I won't show it all the way. I did that a few episodes ago, and I will definitely do that when it's finished. But my Prague Blanket is based on the Fireside Blanket, the Fireside pattern from Lucy from Attic 24. I did a little bit of a different granny square, just a basic one, but we are quite close to finishing, and that's really exciting. I only have this left in my basket. I don't know if you can see it. So it's only enough for a few rounds. This is my biggest yarn ball, but the rest I definitely don't have enough to make rounds in one color. So I have to change in the middle of a round. And I'm quite sure that I will make an easy peasy border with a DK weight yarn. I had other plans. I will share more about that when it's the time. So, but it's really the endless rounds around the whole blanket, just the granny stitch. It's really a calming stitch. I do it in the evenings when I'm a little bit tired and it's dark and we are watching something on television, and it's really nice that the temperature will drop, because then I can sit under the blanket and just crochet all the stitches away, and it's really a calming thing for me to do, to unwind after a busy day. So that's really lovely. So I hope, I'm not quite sure if I will make it for next episode. It would be lovely, but I'm not quite sure. Yeah. Okay, do I have more? Oh yes, I have something more. Oh, look at this. I got a lovely message from a viewer from Germany, Joanna. Yeah. I must confess, every time I get a message from some lovely people who want to send me something, I always feel a bit uncomfortable. Now I am a little bit get used, do you say it like that? When someone is selling a product and wants to share it with me, wants to send me something, I can handle it these days, because then I realize, okay, I tell about it in a podcast, so maybe it's a little bit of advertisement for them, then that's okay, then it's a win-win. But there are also every now and then lovely people who wants to send me something, and especially when it's from out of the Netherlands, from another country, just for fun. And I always feel a bit uncomfortable because it costs some money to send, and I can show it, but I can't do anything back. And so I received a lovely message from Joanna, and she asked me, she said, I have a lovely fabric, vintage fabric, which reminds me of you. I don't use it. Do you want it? And of course, I love this pattern. It's really beautiful. It's heart jumping to me, definitely. And I said, I explained my thoughts as I just did here. And she said, but it's heart jumping for me, so please let me send it you. And then I realized, okay, if that's really true, then okay, if it's heart jumping for you, then it's heart jumping for me too. And when I received this in the mail, I wrapped it around me. I thought, oh, this would be fun for a dress, a little bit obvious, a little bit of a busy fabric. I don't know if it's enough for a dress, but I also thought it would be really lovely to make pillow cases for in our camper van from this fabric. So I think I will do that. But really, really lovely, and thank you so much. It really made my day. It was a nice surprise finding it in the mail when I came back home from the knitting event late in the evening. And I really love the fabric. It's really, the colors and the print and the motif. It's really making me happy. So thank you, Joanna. I also want to tell a little bit more about the Knit to Purl to Festival. The Knit to Purl to Festival, it's a new festival. The first time it is coming out of my brain. I am organizing it in November of this year together with my brother. He doesn't have any connection with knitting except me, but he has a skate park in my hometown in the Netherlands, in Breda. And I really wanted to, I have the view of me organizing something together with him, knitting wise, crochet wise, forever. But I'm not an event organizer. I'm a knitter, and I love to talk and I love to knit, but organizing an event, but the view was coming over and over again. And at some point I thought, okay, let's do it. Let's try. And now I'm organizing a knitting event, and it's so exciting and also challenging every now and then, but really exciting. And last week, we are at a point now that we can reveal a little bit of the program and a little bit of the guests every now and then. It will be a lovely day. It is my wish, my dream, to invite every knitter or crocheter out of we are doing our knitting and crochet in our living room most of the time, and I want to invite you to come to my living room. And my home is not big enough, so I made my living room at another location, a very big living room with all the couches and all the coziness and all the things, but the most important, all the nice people, the online knitting and crochet community. I want to bring a little bit of that to the real life, so you can connect, because I think connection, it can be so heart jumping to meet other people with the same passion and the same love for doing what you love to do. So I did that, and I thought, okay, I love to watch YouTube episodes where people are talking about knitting, and I must confess I don't watch a lot these days because it's so busy. But I invited a few of my favorite podcasters, and they will come, and it's so exciting. Inga from Knitting Traditions will come to Knit to Pearl too. Jana from Finnish Knitting Stories will be there, and Lerke from Fiber Tales, and oh, it's so exciting, and more will come, but we will announce all the things later. But it will be such a heart jumping day to meet all the people, and if they are making very popular podcasts, of if you are just a knitter at home, it doesn't matter. It's so nice to meet people in real life. I did that last Saturday, and yeah, it's making me so happy, and I just want this beautiful day. It will be a festival. I don't know, in the Netherlands we have music festivals. I love music, but I never visit a concert or a music festival. I wanted a knitting and crochet festival, and that same sphere with just a relaxing spot of fun activities, nice people you can listen to, and nice drinks and foods to eat and drink, and also of course there are people selling their beautiful stuff. So it will be a real festival. So it's really nice. I heard some people also coming out of other countries to the Netherlands. It's really exciting. I hope we can create a place where you can connect. You can always scroll through the comments, leave a message for someone. I think we will do something at the Knit to Pearl Instagram account for that too. And definitely at the festival day, there will be an activity and a place where you can meet other people. You can come with your friends, but you can also come alone. It will be an amazing day anyway. So there are still some tickets left, not much. We have limited access. It is not a cheap price, although it's always a bit difficult. What is cheap and what is not. It's quite pricey, but organizing a festival, believe me, that's quite pricey too. So it's not a commercial thing. We don't, earning money is not our goal. Making a good day for you and for me too, of course. A heart jumping day, that's our goal. And to accomplish that goal, yeah, we need the money to do all the stuff. There is a lot of technical things involved, and yeah, but it will be a perfect and wonderful day. So if you are there, I'm very happy. And if you are doubting, but you can come, you are more than welcome to the Knit to Pearl Festival. It will be an amazing day. I can't wait until November, although I'm also happy that we still have some time, because there's a lot of work to do. But yeah, it will be just the perfect day just before the start of the winter, and yeah, I can't wait. It will be a heart-jumping moment. So I'm so excited. So many people are coming, and so many people are happy to come, and yeah. So yeah, that was it for today. I have a very busy week, as I said. I hope I can create some knitting time. It's always the biggest priority to recharge your battery, create heart jumping moments, especially when you have a busy schedule. I prefer to live a calm and slow life, and I have the luxury that I can do that. But now it's quite busy, and then I can practice what I preach in my own reality. So yeah, I will keep you updated about that. I want to thank you for watching. I really enjoy making these podcasts, so I am always happy to hear when people love to watch it. If you want more, you are welcome to the Hard Jumping Friday part. I have a membership part on YouTube. You have to pay a little amount of money for it. And then in those Hard Jumping Friday episodes, I always answer all your questions about my knitting, about your knitting, about knitting or crochet in general, about patterns in general, but also sometimes about typical Dutch things or personal things. And it's just sometimes I do a little bit of a vloggy style during the week, and sometimes it's just a little bit of a chatty episode. It's just nice, some musing. Yeah, I don't know. If you like it, you are more than welcome. And if it's not your thing, that's also okay. You can find the link down below. And otherwise, I will just see you next Monday, I hope. Thank you for watching. I wish you a very nice week filled with hard jumping moments. If you can't find them, create them. Note to myself too this week. Bye bye.